Hi everyone and welcome to Surviving Mars. So, Surviving Mars is a game from the developers of Tropico, published by Paradox, and you get to colonize Mars. I've been quite looking forward to this one. I already had a chance to play a bit, so I know sort of how the game works, or at least I know the basics. I didn't get to mid-game or late game. So, there's an option to go for an easy start, but there's not much point picking this one, because if you click New Game, you can get the same exact start as Easy Start, except you will actually be able to see what it means. So, we'll go for a New Game. And here we get to set up our game. So first we need to choose our mission sponsor. This basically determines how much funding you'll get, how much research you'll get, how many applicants you'll have, so people who actually want to come to Mars, and any other bonuses. So it ranges from very easy to hard. On very easy you get a crap ton of funding, you get a lot of free research, you get a lot of applicants, and other helpful bonuses. I don't think we'll be playing on very easy. I might go for one of the middle settings. So for example, Europe sounds quite interesting. You get 5 extra starting technologies, and you gain funding every time a tech is researched, and gain double if it's a breakthrough research. That sounds interesting. Our funding won't be nearly as high as with International Mars Mission, obviously, but it should be enough. So this is considered to be normal difficulty. And as you can see, the bonuses can be very different. Europe gives you extra research, China gives you extra colonists, applicants are generated twice as fast, and passenger rockets carry 10 additional colonists. You can start the game with deep metal extraction tech, probes can discover deep rare metal deposits. What else do we have here? Drone hubs start with additional drones, 50% cheaper advanced resources. Anyway, let's go with Europe mission sponsor. And then we need to choose our commander profile. So the rocket scientist gives us an extra rocket and a bonus tech. We could go for something that will work nicely with Europe. So breakthrough techs are researched 30% faster, and bonus tech, autonomous sensors. Sensor towers no longer require power or maintenance. We could do that. What else is available here? Hydro engineer, politician, ecologist, archaeologist, start with rare metal deposit revealed. Rocket scientist is probably the easiest commander profile, I would say. The extra rocket is quite helpful. But let's actually go for this one. Breakthrough techs are researched 30% faster, and sensor towers no longer require power or maintenance. Sure. Then we get to choose our logo, which doesn't actually affect gameplay. So how about this one? I like this one. And finally, the mystery. You only get a vague description of what exactly this means. This is basically sort of like mid-game, late-game event chain. So we can pick one or we can go with random. I like the sound of artificial intelligence. So how about we pick artificial intelligence? And that's going to be our starting setup. And now we get to pick or change what we want to actually come with. I'll probably leave this on default because I haven't actually played the game that much, so I don't want to mess with this too much. We'll get 6 drones, we'll get an explorer, which can be used to analyze anomalies. Some polymers, machine parts. Polymers are used for some of the buildings, machine parts are used for building maintenance, and also buildings. Electronics, orbital probe. Orbital probes can be used to scan sectors, as you'll see in just a moment. And we got some prefab buildings. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to mess with this. We could pick the Stirling generator, which generates quite a lot of power. It can be quite useful early on. Machine parts factory can be useful. But let's just leave this as is. And now we get to choose our landing spot. Now the game difficulty can be drastically different, depending on what kind of landing spot you choose. There are some suggested ones over here. So as you can see, this location has a lot of metals, a lot of concrete, a lot of water, and not a lot of threads. But we can also find locations that have almost no water, a lot of dust storms, a lot of cold waves. So that would be a lot harder to play. And if you pick the same exact spot, you will get the same exact terrain. Resources will be randomized based on these settings, but the terrain will always be the same if you pick the same location. Let's check these suggested locations real quick. I don't mind some threads, but I don't want them to be super high. Like this one looks pretty easy. More meteors. Okay, a lot of resources. And more meteors. You know what, sure, let's go for this one. We can also customize it. We can enter custom coordinates. No, this is fine.
Welcome to Mars.
Now, as I said, I haven't played that much, but I know this game can be very easy and chill, or it can be super hard, depending on the exact setup you go for. So first we can see the grid. We got one sector already analyzed and suggested for our landing site, but we have a few probes. And using the probes we can scan a few more sectors. So if we hover over them, we can see what the buildable area is, and we can also see what the chance of this sector containing some resources is. So we can see that there's a high chance this one will contain concrete and metals. We definitely want concrete early on, because that's used for buildings, for a lot of buildings. We can see that this area might contain water, which is obviously a good thing. Can we find anything other than concrete, metals and water? Here we got some rare metals that will be useful later on. Metals, rare metals, concrete, concrete metals, water. Okay, how about we scan some of these sectors up here? This one. This one and this one. Oh, hold on, we were supposed to use the probe. Okay, that didn't reveal a whole lot. Okay, we got water. Some concrete. Low grade. Average grade, average grade. Alright, let's go with the recommended location. There aren't any metals in here, however, there are surface metals and we can pick them up. We don't actually need metal deposit just yet. So now we get to choose where our rocket will land. We don't want to overlap with the deposit. There's even a warning, as you can see. But we definitely want both of them to be in the area of influence, so to speak. We can rotate the rocket a little bit if we want to. So this looks fine. Alright. And now it will actually land. We can look around if we want to. You can zoom in a lot and move the camera around. It's pretty good for screenshots. And here's the rocket. Now we can pause for a moment while we actually build things. Maybe wait for the drones to come out. So here's our Explorer. Explorer is used to analyze anomalies, which we don't have any in the area just yet. But it will be useful later on. And here are our drones. These guys are basically workers. We don't have any colonists yet, because the job of the drones is to actually prepare Mars for actual colonies, so that they won't, you know, just die instantly as soon as they arrive. And the first thing we want is concrete, because concrete is used for a lot of buildings. And if we click on our rocket, we can see what exactly we have in here. We got basic resources, which are metals, concrete and food. Then we got advanced resources, we brought some with us. And you might notice that we have 0 metals right now, because we didn't bring any with us. But we got metal deposits right here. And this one, for example, has 53 metals. Meaning we can build things that require metals. The drones will just extract the metal as we need it. So, the build menu can be opened with right mouse click, which is usually what I do. We also have to pick our research. So, research is pretty interesting in surviving Mars, because it's randomized. The texts are the same, but the order is different. So you might have different texts here when you play yourself. It will be a little bit different in every game. Now, since we are playing with Europe sponsor, we get some extra text to start with. What do we want to actually go for? Let's check these texts. Now, they will all cost 1000 early on, but some of the later texts are way more expensive than this. So this is already researched. Sensor towers no longer require power or maintenance. That's one of the bonuses that we had. More applicants will start to appear on Earth, don't need that yet. Wind turbine upgrade. Power production increased by 33%. That one will be quite useful. Subsurface heating. New building, subsurface heater. Increases the local temperature in cold areas and protects nearby buildings from cold waves. Requires water. Don't need that. Transport optimization. The RC transport harvests resources faster and its maximum storage is increased by 15. Drones and rovers move 25% faster. We can get that. New building, polymer factory. Right, we will definitely need a polymer factory. New building, apartments. Moisture evaporator upgrade. Water production increased by 50%. Moxie upgrade, oxygen production increased by 50%. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Milestone achieved. Found water on Mars, right here. But we aren't going there just yet. So, the first thing we need is an extractor to get some concrete. Now, there are quite a few categories down here. For buildings, we got infrastructure, we got power, we got production, life support, storages, domes, homes, education and research, dome services, and decorations. And you will get more buildings in here as you research various technologies. So, we do have one drone hub available because we brought one with us as a prefab, which we can see on the tooltip. But the first thing we need is a concrete extractor. So that's exactly what we're going to get. Now we can rotate it. The white area is the area it's going to actually extract from. It's complaining about lack of cable connection, but that's okay, we'll handle that in just a moment. Let's build it fairly close to the rocket. Now we can unpause, and we can see that the drones are moving to get some metal, because the concrete extractor requires metal, but we don't have any, we need to actually get some from the deposits. And we'll speed the game up a bit. We can send our explorer. Now, the explorer will use power, which means we might want to not send it too far. We can also destroy it to get some resources, but that's not really a brilliant idea. Now, before we send it anywhere, we need to scan the nearby sectors. So that's what we are going to focus on first, once we set up our basic infrastructure. When we find some anomalies, then we'll send the rover to check them out. let's speed things up. Now, we don't have to extract metal deposits every time we need to build something. We can build actual storage, which is under, storages. If we build a metal deposit, our drones will just dump metal in here. So we can place it literally right next to the metals. And once they are done building the extractor, they will extract more metals and place it in the storage. Now, the building is not working because it doesn't have power. As we can see, it requires 5 power to actually be operational. Meaning, we'll need to get power next. So we can build large solar panel, which only requires metals. This is what we'll need first, because we don't have concrete just yet, meaning we cannot build a wind turbine, for example. So we'll build a large solar panel. Now, there is also a small solar panel. It's a little bit more efficient. However, you need to maintain buildings, which requires machine parts. So large solar panel will be cheaper in the long run in terms of maintenance. That's what we're going to build. Somewhere in the middle is fine. And then we need a power cable to actually connect it. We can click on the panel and then on the building. Now, the solar panel does not work during the night. And we can do one of two things about it. We can either make the extractor also not work during the night. You can actually set shifts for the extractor. Or we can build a power accumulator, which does require polymers. So I think we'll just accept the fact it won't be working during the night. That's okay. I don't want to waste our polymers just yet. We got 15, which should be enough for a while, but we don't need it operating 24/7. That's just not necessary. And as you can see, during the night it will actually fold. Which matters, because then you won't get this bar to increase. It won't deteriorate while it's folded. Once this bar reaches 100%, you need one machine part for maintenance. The building will just stop working outright. It will be useless until you maintain it. Which is why large solar panels are just more efficient in terms of maintenance. Now we can also see some info up here. Our extractors produce waste rock as a byproduct, which we can build dumping sites for. Otherwise it will be disposed around the extractors. We can see waste rock here. It's at 0.5 out of 10 right now. If there are not enough drones, it will stop working. And we can actually build dumping ground right away. If we go to storage, there, it's basically just an assigned dumping site, that's all it really is. It can be pretty close to here, roughly in the middle, because we'll likely work the other deposit at some point. They are both average grade, so it doesn't matter which one we work first. Sometimes they can be very low grade, which makes them less efficient, I believe. And we'll speed things up a bit. Now we can see our drones are gathering metals, since we built the storage. So now we won't have to go and actually extract metals every time we build something that requires it. And we might want to build actual storage for the concrete, so let's maybe do that. Concrete depot will do just fine, and we'll place it close to the extractor. So that takes care of the concrete. Now, once we get some concrete, we can build a wind turbine, so that will be generating power during the night, and a power accumulator. That is definitely a good idea. So we'll probably do that, but first, let's get a sensor tower, so that we can start scanning the nearby sectors. So we place it somewhere around here. Up here is fine. And then we can actually start skying. Once we find some anomalies, we'll send our explorer to check them out. That's the general idea. So other than that, before any colonies can arrive on Mars, we are going to need water and oxygen. We can take care of that with a water extractor, a Moxie, and a moisture evaporator. Now, a water extractor requires an actual water deposit. We have none down here. There is some water all the way to the northeast, but hopefully we'll find another water deposit somewhere closer. We can, however, build a Moxie which produces oxygen. It can be placed anywhere. Then we can build an oxygen tank and that will store oxygen. For now, let's start actually scanning. And we will grab a wind turbine that will definitely come in handy in the future. Over here is good. And connect it with a cable to the existing cable. And then we can also build a power accumulator. Oh, also, every extractor in the game contaminates nearby buildings with dust. So we can actually build it slightly further away than this. We can salvage it and build it elsewhere. So let's maybe do that. Slightly further away. Let's try that again then. Like up here. Yep, that's fine. And connect the power cable. Good enough. So now that we have the sensor tower, we can zoom out and queue up a few sectors. We'll go for the closest ones. Actually, hold on. Which are likely to actually have something? It's just concrete and metals nearby. Alright. Right now we are mostly looking for anomalies. So this looks good. Now it will start scanning, which can take a while, but that's fine. And it doesn't use any power, because that's one of our starting bonuses. So how's concrete coming along? Also, instead of clicking on the rocket to see our storage, we can click down here on Colony Overview. Because normally this is closed, you have to either click on your rocket to see the overview or down here. We got 14 concrete, so it's building up quite fast. You can see scanning progress is 90%. So let's see if we'll discover any anomalies in here.
Sector scanned. Anomaly found.
Yes, we did. So we can go and check that out. We just need to send our explorer. So off you go. And we'll see what this is all about. Let him do his thing. So, since there's no water too close to us, we'll probably want to build the moisture evaporator, which we do have one of. It's a lot less efficient than water extractor, because you can see that it requires 5 power, but generates or produces 1 water, while the water extractor also requires 5 power, but produces 5 water. But the evaporator doesn't require the actual water deposits, so yeah. We'll place it somewhere around here. We can place it anywhere, but we don't want it too close to any extractors. So let's say up here, that seems decent. We don't need a lot of cable to connect it. That will do. And we can see that we have 10.5 power production and 5 power demand. It will go up once we finish this building. Power balance is definitely something we need to keep an eye on.
Analyzed. Milestone achieved.
Here, milestone achieved. Scanned an anomaly.
There's more to
So
the
let's see what
barren
this is all
environs
about.
of the Red Planet than meets the eye. A veritable treasure trove of undiscovered knowledge and wonder. So long as you know where to look.
So, effect. The following texts have been revealed on the research screen. We revealed 5 texts on the research screen. Nice. Okay. What are these? Productivity training, extractor amplification, increases production by 25% but also increases power consumption by 10. Drone swarm. Drone hubs are constructed with 2 additional drones and the maximum number of drones is increased by 80. Advanced Martian engines. Rockets and shuttles require less fuel. And soil adaptation. New building, farm. Produces food. Large in-dome building, which is more work efficient and requires power. That sounds quite useful. Okay then. Well, carry on then. There are a lot of tags in here. Are these still the same cost? No. These are slightly more expensive. Alright. We are also almost done with the first one. Low G turbines. So this will upgrade the wind turbine. And we already have one. So that's nice. Might as well send our explorer back for now. He will need more power. As you can see, he already used 25%, and we didn't even send him that far.
Research complete.
And there we go, low G turbines. So next up, low G drive. Unless we want to change the order. Drones and rovers move 25% faster. Yeah, that will be useful. Yeah, that is fine for our next tech. It will speed everything up, basically.
Sector scanned.
And the next sector is scanned. We didn't find anything. Like, literally, there's nothing in here. No anomaly, no resources, just nothing. Alright. Well, that was not very useful, was it? We got 24 concrete now. So, here we got the moisture evaporator, and he's complaining that it must be connected to a water consumer. Now, we don't actually need water just yet, however, we can build the water tower. Where was it? Right here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Preferably close. And then we need to connect it with a pipe. These icons here are where the pipes are connected to the building, as you probably figured out. So then we'll need some oxygen. I don't think we will be quite ready to actually place a dome, and domes are super expensive to build. As you can see, the smallest one requires 80 concrete, 20 metals, and 10 polymers. It also consumes 15 power, 1 oxygen and 1 water. So that is expensive, and that's the smallest one. But not yet. That will have to wait. Here's the milestone. And how's the scanning going? 75%. Alright, hopefully we'll find more anomalies in here. There are anomalies that can speed up your research. That's what I'm hoping to get. We'll charge our battery before we leave. And how's our power balance right now? We do have a power shortage, so might be a good idea to take care of that. As you can see, the moisture evaporator is not actually working. But that's the fault of the explorer, isn't it? Yes, so we had a power shortage while he was charging. Right now we have a surplus, but it might be a good idea to build another turbine ASAP anyway. We did find an anomaly. Let's go check it out. It's a little bit further away, but we should have enough power to go there. We just need to not use more than 50% in one direction. No, it's fine. We'll barely use like 5%. So next up, we'll need some oxygen. Let's get started on that right away. So in order to actually get this operational, we will need more energy. Let's grab another wind turbine. It makes sense to mostly rely on wind turbines now because we have tech that actually improves them. So that just makes sense. And that's what we're going to do. I don't think we need a power cable here, it will be connected. Now about that anomaly. Let's see what we'll get from that. And we can already place a Moxie, might as well do that. Preferably not close to any extractors. So up here is good. We'll connect it to the pipe once it's actually finished. We still got a lot of metals stored here. But we'll need to find a metal deposit eventually. The difference is that while the concrete extractor can work on its own, a metal extractor actually requires people. If we go to production and check metal extractor, it actually requires workers. So that's what we'll need. Breakthrough discovered, wireless power. Okay, that sounds interesting. There it is, wireless power. Recharge stations service drones in a 3 hex range instantly. Okay. Research cost 1400. We could research it right away after we finish low G drive. We don't actually have any recharge stations right now, but I assume we'll get some at some point. And breakthroughs are always nice. I haven't seen a lot just yet, but my understanding is that breakthroughs can change your colony quite drastically.
Sector scanned.
Alright, next sector is scanned. We got some water down here. Let's check the quality. Average, so that's good. Very high grade concrete deposit. Nice one. Okay, that looks very promising. Now, it's a little bit too far away, meaning we'll probably have to expand in this direction, so to speak. However, I think this is going to be good enough for the first episode, so thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, let me know what you think about surviving Mars, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.